Hey, good morning, team. This is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic, I wanted to just give you some tips on your sub 3 hour marathon journey, because I know a lot of athletes around the world are trying to break the 3 hour marathon, and I know how difficult it is. It's the biggest problem for most athletes is a combination of pace sustainment, being able to sustain that 6:52 mile pace or 4:16 per kilometer pace. It's nutrition issues, hydration issues. You know, athletes are just simply not taking in enough fluid and enough calories during the race, and improper pace strategy. You have to be very strategic in how you pace in a marathon distance, a marathon event, in order to run a time of 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. It's an extremely tough time. You know, I have the utmost respect for athletes that are trying to break the 3 hour marathon. You know, I created a course, a running course called the Sub 3 Hour Marathon Pro, which has helped a lot of athletes get new personal bests. So definitely check out the description below this video, or go to RunDreamAchieve.com and check out the courses that we have. I know if you're trying to break 3 hours, I have a course for 4 hour marathoners, a course for 5 hour marathoners, and even a course for athletes that are trying to break the 2 hour and 30-minute marathon barrier, which is even more difficult, and something I only did twice in my career. So, you know, as you train, as you prepare for your sub 3 hour marathon journey, I want you to keep in mind the importance of mental rehearsal, mental preparation. I've said this in a lot of other videos, and it's so important because so many athletes neglect it. They focus mainly on the physical preparation of trying to break a 3 hour marathon, but they don't focus as much on mental preparation, their mental preparation, you know, rehearsing, seeing themselves running 2:59:59 on the clock and performing at the highest of levels. You know, you have to see it in your mind. You have to see it and rehearse it and prepare for your sub 3 hour marathon journey, and preparing mentally as well. So don't neglect that, because the majority of your competition are focusing mainly on physical preparation. And of course, there's no way in the world you can just mentally rehearse and you know, just mentally go over you know, yourself breaking 3 hours in your head over 16 weeks or 8, 12, or 16 weeks of training and break a 3 hour marathon. Yes, you absolutely have to prepare physically as well. So it's a combination of mental, which is 50% of it, and physical, which is the other 50%. If you're doing one and not doing the other, you're gonna have a very difficult time breaking 3 hours. You know, and you may not even realize it, but when you're training, when you're out doing the tempo runs, you're doing longer tempo runs that I talk about. You're starting off doing 3 to 4 mile tempo runs and lengthening the duration of the time you're spending at your anaerobic threshold. You're spending that, you're extending it out to around 10 to 12 miles in length. You're doing faster, longer, long runs. You're not doing just easy long runs every single weekend, but you're mixing up the pace, you're varying up the pace. You're doing repetitions on the track. Those are, you know, those mile repeats at under 6 minute mile pace. You know, or you're doing intervals on the roads, where, you know, examples of the types of workouts that I recommend to athletes that are trying to break the 3 hour marathon are maybe like 3 to 4 5K repetitions on the road at goal race pace. So 6:52 mile pace or 4:16 kilometer pace with very minimal rest. Again, you have to have a plan in place physically, but as you're doing all of your training like this, you know, as you're preparing physically, make sure that you're spending 10 to 20 minutes each day with the devices off and just visualizing yourself performing at the highest level possible. You're seeing yourself performing, passing people in the race, grabbing your water bottles or grabbing the Dixie cups during the race, and you're seeing yourself properly hydrating. You're seeing yourself staying relaxed as you're racing, passing people, like I said, passing people especially in the last 5 kilometers of the race, and getting across that finish line with 2:59:59 on the clock. I know a lot of you have this as your goal, and there's nothing easy. I can assure you there's nothing easy about breaking the 3-hour marathon, but I know you can do it. You know, and I know if you put enough, if you stay consistent enough, and you're persistent, and you have that grit and determination and the motivation to put in the daily work and stay with it long enough and handle the setbacks properly. You know, to break a sub 3-hour marathon, you have to be able to not spend so much time on the things outside of your control. If you have a bad workout, expect the fact that you're going to have some tough workouts, you're going to have some tough races, you're going to have bad races leading up to that sub 3-hour marathon effort. How you get over those disappointments is absolutely essential, because you're not going after something easy at all. There are very few athletes around the world that go under, that dip below the 3-hour marathon barrier. You know, I wish more athletes that are talking down on athletes that are running, you know, 240s or 250s, you know, because they have their sights, they're focusing so much on the athletes at the very top, you know, of the world, that are running like 205s, sub 210s, sub 220s, you know, and they think that a 259 is not very fast. Anything, I can assure you, now I've run 219 for the marathon myself. That's a time that's respected around the world. But I had so many setbacks along the way before I ran that 219 marathon. So I understand 100% how difficult and how important persistence plays a part in breaking the 3-hour marathon. So if you're currently at, say, 4 hours right now, or maybe you're even in the 5s, and you dream about one day getting into the 3s or breaking the 3-hour marathon, do not let up. Do not let up, because normalcy surrounds us all. You know, it's very difficult to break outside of the norm and to do something that most people are not doing. And in order to do that, in order to break a 3-hour marathon, you have to be zeroed in. You have to be white hot focused on what you're doing. And you can't just be average. If you want to be average, you're not going to break a 3-hour marathon. You have to be consistent about your training, consistent about your sleep, hydration, mental preparation. You have to do the things that most athletes are unwilling to do. You have to be smart about your training. You have to be smart about your pacing in the race. Don't try to win a marathon in the first half marathon of the event. You know, if you're trying to break a 3-hour marathon, don't go out in 1:20. You know, you're not trying to run 2:40. Go out at, you know, 1:32, between 1:30 and 1:32, and then come back with a negative split. It's always more powerful to do a negative split rather than trying to do a positive split. And yes, you can go out faster in the first half of a marathon and then come back slower in the second half, because you went out a little too aggressive in the first half, and so you have some buffer time to run that second half a little bit slower and still break the 3-hour marathon. But remember, we're talking about a sub 3-hour marathon here. So your sub 3-hour marathon journey, in your preparation, in your mental tactics, in your physical training, has to be very, very professional and be very high in terms of what you're doing. You have to be very strong mentally, very strong physically. So pay attention to the areas and variables of your training that are going to make the biggest difference, that are going to give you the highest return on your time investment. So be smart about your training, especially when you're racing and training. Stay as relaxed as you possibly can. Do not spend any mental or physical energy on things that you can control yourself. You can control how tight your body is when you're training, when you're doing those mile repeats, when you're doing repeat Ks on the track, or maybe when you're doing your tempo runs or long runs. Once you start feeling tense and tight, consciously tell yourself, I'm relaxed, I'm in control, so that, again, you're not wasting any physical energy that you could be better, you know, that's going to cause any hindrance to you when you're racing. So if you watch the best middle to long distance runners, they always look totally relaxed. And the sprinters, you know, Usain Bolt, you know, look at how relaxed he is before his races. Granted, he's confident because he put in the work and training, and he knows that if anybody's going to beat him in the race, they had better have done equal or even exceeded what he did in preparation. You know, and that's kind of the mindset that I had, you know, prior to breaking the 2:20 marathon, the 2 hour and 20 minute marathon barrier. again, I had a lot of setbacks. Everybody loves to talk about their fastest races, but it's very important that I also talk about all the times where I had bad workouts, I doubted myself, but I stayed consistent and I was aggressive enough for a long enough period of time, several years, that I eventually ran 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 35 seconds for the marathon. So again, it's important to talk about the failures too, because we're not going to be successful in anything that we do unless we also deal with the setbacks and getting over setbacks fast. You know, if you have a bad workout or a bad race, you know, you can spend a few minutes on it, but that's it. Don't you know, at the most spend a couple hours if you need just a vent or whatever. But again, you can't get back that time. You can't go back in time and correct that mistake that you made in the race or in a workout. So learn from what you were doing wrong so that you can go forward and continue to set new personal bests in this event. So I just wanted to talk on this. You know, it's very important if you're going after, you know, your sub 3 hour marathon journey is going to be tough. So be prepared to handle the ups and downs along the way. You know, watch the videos that I have here on RunDreamAchieve.com. You can reach out to me anytime. Leave me a comment below any of my videos. You know, I'll reach back out to you and I'll respond. So, you know, I know this is tough physically to prepare for it, but also know that you have the support system, and not only by myself, you know, not only with me, but also with the other commenters that are below all the videos as well. So, you know, there's a great community here at RunDreamAchieve, and definitely people that care about you, and just know that you have the support system as well. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Feel free to definitely check out the sub 3 hour marathon pro course, or you know, I have a sub 3 hour marathon training plan as well. If you're looking for a time that's even faster or slower than the 3 hour marathon, again, I have a 5 hour marathon course, I have a 4 hour marathon course, and even a course for athletes that are trying to break 2 hours and 30 minutes, as well as the 3 hour marathon barrier. So definitely check out those resources. And again, all of the courses, training plans, monthly coaching, as well as consultation call resources are below all of my videos, as well as on RunDreamAchieve.com. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and I look forward to hearing about that 2:59:59 marathon time or faster that you ran, or the new huge personal best that you're about to achieve, because I know you can do it. So I wish you all the best, and I will talk with you all in the next video.